Hook.
WICR.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another week and another episode of Three Man Weave featuring myself, Brendan Clark, and Josh C. Martin. We'll be joined by Jiggity soon, but as for now, it's just us three. How are you guys doing, fellas?
Good. Doing all right. I'm stressed though, but it's all right.
Stress, I know school, right? The woes of school going on right now, man, but it's almost over. Summer literally around the corner, and playoffs are literally around the corner for the NBA. And each team having about 4 to 5 games left in the regular season. You know, we have certain teams that are looking good and certain teams that are not looking good.
The Knicks.
Okay, yeah, you had to just rub it in. You know, me being New York Knicks fan, you just had to.
Of
But
course.
It's all right. It's all right. You know, I take it. It's deservingly so.
That lottery pick though.
Yeah, that lottery pick. Hopefully, you know, it's number one, and you know we get Mr. NCAA Jahlil Okafor. You know, but we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, though, let's pick up where we left off last week. And last week we left off with the Cleveland Cavaliers and Kevin Love. The question of Kevin Love being, in fact, a max player. I mean, the trade obviously prior to this season was obviously Kevin Love for Bennett and Wiggins. And Wiggins, although the Timberwolves haven't, you know, had what many would say a successful season, Wiggins is definitely having success translate into his rookie year thus far with having 25 20-point games. And in terms of him elevating his own self, you have Kevin Love, who stats wise has somewhat regressed. I'm sorry, having gone from averaging 26 and 12 in Minnesota to about 16 and a half points and 10 rebounds per game with Cleveland. And we just want to know, when looking into these two players and considering the deal that was made and how it's panned out for both sides, is Kevin Love a max player, and did Cleveland make a mistake?
Well, I'm gonna take those as two different questions. First, is Kevin Love a max player? And in my eyes, no, he's not a max player. Doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to get paid and get paid handsomely for his skills, but I don't think he's a max player, because a max player is someone you look at. Think about the people who are max contract players, for instance. You had Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose got a max contract. You know, when you think of players who are max contract players, you have someone who changes the face of a franchise and changes the franchise going forward. Love cannot be that for Cleveland for several reasons. One, his production has been off this season. Granted, he's been injured, but still, his production's been off. And you cannot be really a max player. You've got to be a third string option. Think about it. LeBron is the face of the franchise. Then you have Kyrie as the second option, and then Love really has been reduced to just to sit on a 3-point line and wait for someone to give him the ball to shoot the three.
I think JR has more of a face than him right now.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Exactly. The other night, JR shot
He's 8 for 17.
8 threes.
8 for 17. I think it was the most threes, the most 3-ball attempts without shooting a 2 in the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All his points came off of 3-pointers. 24 points off of threes only, with no attempts for the 2-point line. That's ridiculous. So, like I'm saying, the role players are getting more recognition than the guy they traded for. Now, I don't think they made a mistake with the trade. The trade was a good trade. You know, if you think about it, without knowing what we know now, if you take Love, who's an established NBA player who's missed a double-double in Minnesota, or take a rookie who has high potential and high promise to be a star in this league, you would take the sure bet over the one you got to take a chance with. Especially with Cleveland having LeBron. That's before, I think, it was after LeBron came over. You know, them trying to make a playoff push and actually win championships. The trade makes sense. And they needed Love because they needed a perennial all-star who could be able to be out there, who could stretch the floor for LeBron and Kyrie, and can really help production right now. And Minnesota needs to rebuild. And who else to rebuild it? And would have a young, fresh-faced freshman coming out of college, coming to the NBA now to play and score.
And getting 2 first-round.
Exactly, 2 first-round
Anthony
picks.
Bennett, even though wasn't the greatest, but he's still a first round. It's just that title just coming to your franchise. That's just
exactly
it's good. You could work with that.
Exactly. So I mean, they got great talent for it. And so if you think about it, and Wiggins needed that role to be the guy because in Kansas he wasn't. It was Embiid who was the guy, and he was the second option. So they needed that whole transformation. So at the end of the day, if I was Cleveland, I would do that trade over again and again. No matter what happened.
No matter what happened. Even though they initially thought Kevin Love was going to be the max player. Because, I mean, an argument could have been made that people would have presumed Kevin Love would have had the second option sort of role. The guy you look to after LeBron prior to the season, obviously. And, having sat down in the entire fourth quarter on 14 different occasions thus far doesn't say second option or even max player. You know what I mean? Because
I think. Go ahead, continue.
I was gonna say, as much as I, enjoy to see the players get paid, they're just dues and everything. They have to exhibit that value, and I'm not giving Kevin Love the max, and I'm honestly wondering if I would have even proceeded with the trade, knowing what I know now, if I'm a executive for the Cavaliers.
True, but think about it. Wiggins would not have 20-point games if he was playing with LeBron.
Wiggins to start off wouldn't get as much run as he would get now because of LeBron, he would still draw. He would have drawn in the same people that he had in Miami, whatever. He would have brought people to try to come to Cleveland to try to get this another ring in this other franchise.
Exactly.
And also Andrew Wiggins, he's a top 1 pick, but it would be the first great potentially great pick who would not get that much run and would have to come off the bench. And because there's too many names on the Cavaliers team for him to get that much run, and also for Kevin Love being there, I think for him to be a max player, I think the game is becoming a little bit too fast for him. When I watch the Cavaliers play, they're really fast. I watched them against the Bulls the other day, and I saw how they were able to compete. LeBron coming down, and then you have J.R. Smith just coming down and just ready for the three.
Yeah,
you have Iman Shumpert just moving and running. They're moving well. They're moving really well. Timothy's ready to move. He's good on his feet. He has nice on ball handling. But then all I see is Kevin Love waiting for the 3-ball in the corner. Like, he's not going to be moving that much. The thing is, though, at the same time, he's not a scrub. He's not a bad player, but he's just not max. He's getting double doubles, which is surprising to me. Which people could say he could decrease with a person who's able to do a job that is not max worthy, and you see his decline immensely to the benefit of the team, and still is able to get double doubles. I think that's something, because I think that with having Kevin Love in the mix, I think the one thing you could say is that it brings a little bit of size, and it brings a person who could spread out the court. I think with Andrew Wiggins, if he was on the Cavaliers team, I think that everybody would be like, okay, I don't think there'd be like a lot of respect for him, but because Kevin Love has so much respect, he's able to spread the court, stay by the 3-point line, and people stay close to him. But by the end of the day, at the end of the situation, something else is happening on the other side of the court. But I don't think that Kevin Love is a max contract player. I do think that he has done some good things for the team, or at least kept them at a state where they got players now, so he doesn't have to do much. I think for him, he should just collect the offensive rebounds and stay to the side. That's how I see it for right now. I mean, when the playoffs come, it's a different animal. Hopefully he plays a little bit better. Hopefully there's some more spark, because everybody plays differently in the playoffs. That's just the fact of the matter. Everybody plays their best in the playoffs, and just with less than 6 games left, we might see more Kevin Love.
Yeah, I feel he's a good player and just in a bad position. I do think he'll get max dollars. I don't think he'll be in Cleveland though. New York and the Lakers are so desperate they will give him a max contract.
Yeah,
I hope not.
They will. The Lakers already told him, we will give you a max contract without a question.
There's no. I mean, the thing is, I think if you're trying to give Kevin Love a max contract anywhere else, I think you're just taking the name than what he has done.
Yeah, but
that's not what a max contract is about. Like,
true, but they neither. Let's be honest. Neither team has a face of a franchise right now.
Yeah,
even all respect to Kobe being on the Lakers still, but neither team has like a true face, and they went from being a playoff team not so long ago, both teams, to being now considered the jokes of the NBA. And these two franchises are supposed to be pillars in the NBA.
Yeah, they're the two biggest markets in the basketball.
So I mean, they're gonna vie for big names to come to them. So, like I said, I think Kevin Love is a good player in a bad situation, with being there with two all-stars who are gonna get the ball first. So I feel like he needs to be a team where he's at least the second option, if not the first, in order for it to be a good situation for him. And also, I don't think he'll get max dollars from Cleveland. I think Cleveland will still offer him a contract out of respect and think that he's still a great player for them to play. But if he wants max dollars, he has to look to the coast. He has to either look for the Pacific Coast, for LA, or look to the East Coast and play with the Knicks. But those are the only two options I see him getting max contract.
All right. I mean, even one would take into account his defense when they raved about Wiggins' defense, his perimeter defense, sort of similar to Pippen type of defender, and then everyone knows
who the Knicks lost from Iman.
Yeah, Iman
lost it.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, they lost it.
They lost it, and they're not gonna get it back with Kevin Love.
No, but the thing is, the Knicks needed to trade Iman. And I'm going to tell you why. You cannot have Iman Shumpert and Tim Hardaway Jr. on the same squad and expect for them not to think. They were competing for the starting job. One of them had to win it. So one had to stay and one had to go.
Well, you say Iman and
Tim Hardaway Jr. You could not have them play together.
I would say J.R. Smith is more of a... I would say Tim Hardaway is more of a baby J.R.
Yeah, but okay, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, in the making.
Tim Hardaway Jr., he brings you the offense. The threes, the stretching of the floor. That's offense. He lacks defense. However, Iman, great perimeter defense. I'll put him on shooting guard. I don't have to worry about defense wise. But scoring wise is where he's slipped. If the Knicks could, they would like to fuse both of them together and have one play. That would be perfect for them. But we don't live in a world where they can fuse. So, unfortunately, they had to make the decision which one they wanted. And I guess they saw, okay, we had Iman for a few years now. He hasn't panned out. We just drafted Tim Hardaway Jr. We cannot trade him because we don't know what he's going to be. So let's keep him and see what happens. So let's see if that actually works out for the Knicks. Is it going to be something called as a blessing in disguise for them, or is it going to come back to bite them on the behind like a lot of their past decisions with draft picks and draft decisions they've made?
All right, hold on. Since we're talking about Eastern Conference teams, and we spoke about rookies like. Well, not rookies, but Tim Hardaway and, guys like that. Was Tim Hardaway a one-and-done player at Michigan?
I believe... I want to say yes, only because that is the common theme in college. Yep. But I don't want to... I have a feeling it's not true. I don't 100% know if he's one-and-done. I'm going to assume he was, but I'm not 100% sure of that.
It would be the perfect segue into what I want to ask you guys right now. I mean... Well, Wiggins was a one-and-done player, so there we go.
Yeah.
As you probably are by now, great game last night in the NCAA tournament. You had the Wisconsin coach, Bo Ryan, talk about one-and-done players and how at Wisconsin they don't do rent-a-players is what he likes to refer to them as. He likes to build a system, and build from the beginning and progress and
no
evolve.
blockbuster players?
Yeah, no guys like that, show up for a season and not a long-term reason. So I would like your thoughts on that. Do you think he was out of bounds with his comments? Do you agree? Do you disagree? And before we wrap up this segment, let's get a brief but good weigh in on this.
I think that when you mention a rent a player, it does make sense. I think that when people do this one and done kind of ordeal, I think it deals with what kind of school they're going to. I've looked at recently the top pick for the Ben Simmons for the high school #1. He's going to LSU, and so he's talking about going to LSU because he wants to make a legacy. Now that's an interesting comment for an 18-year-old going on college, and it's not something that people really entirely say if they're going to Duke and you're trying to follow this kind of person went here, this kind of person went there.
Yeah.
But when you say rent a player, I do understand that you're trying to build a person. I think that college players, they would get a lot more experience, and I see the growth. Like I see the growth as in Kentucky, the Harrison twins. I saw their growth from one year to the next. I was happy that they did not leave.
Me too.
But I think that when a player is ready to, I think it deals with how the game is played and how it is for them. So for example, if you have a big man and he's really getting beaten up, because I've noticed a lot of times watching college basketball as of this year that there's not a lot of calls going their way because the thing for refs might be, they're big so they could take that hit. My kind of point of view would be, if I'm getting hit like this bad and I'm still scoring, I'm still getting my doubles in college, I might as well get paid for it. That's how I see it. It's promising.
Yeah.
It's really promising to go to the NBA. It's a promising thing to say, all right, I'm going to play here. I could play basketball. I could have my fun. I could love the sport. But if I'm eligible after this 1 year and I know that I'm really doing my best, then I'm going to get paid my first year $500,000. Why not? I could be sitting on the bench. Why not? I could work for my contract. Give me 3 more years. After that, I could get $1 million plus. Why not? That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean the whole run player thing, I'm not gonna say he's out of line for it because it is a common theme. If you look at programs like Kentucky, for instance, a lot of their players are one and done. Unfortunately, that's the league and how it is designed, where they allow college kids to come out. But that one and done thing, I also think you have to think about the family issues. The background of the players. Some players, basketball is all they have. And they realize their parents are struggling, their families are struggling, so they're like, you know what, I would love to go to college and enjoy my 4 years of experience. But financially, we cannot afford that. So if I have a lottery ticket, going to the NBA and getting paid, I'm gonna cash in on that lottery ticket, get the money I need, get paid, and help my family out. So I understand why. I understand why a lot of players, they do that one and done thing, because they come from communities and environments where money is very important, and so they need to cash in on that lottery ticket known as the NBA draft. Now, I would personally like to see the college players do it like almost how the NFL does it. Have them stay 2-3 years. The NFL does 3 years, but
I think that's from a physical standpoint, mainly because your body needs to mature. Actually, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you not only it's maturity on all levels. You mature you mature mentally. You mature as a person. You mature as an athlete. Your skill sets get more refined. You have a better IQ of the game, a better understanding of the game, how to play it, and you're more of a polished player. So that when you go to the NBA, you're not going through that adjustment period where you look like everybody think like you're a bust, but then now here you go, because anybody could be great for 1 year. We've seen players light up the skies for 1 year, and then the next year they fall. But college, if they go there for 2-3 years, it allows them to possibly get more polished in their game. So I'm not in favor of the one and done, but I do understand why a lot of players do it, and I'm not gonna throw shade on any of them. If you do one and done, congratulations to you, get that money, go to the NBA, make that money, have fun, enjoy the life, enjoy the experience.
I hear you, but at the same time, I feel like it's sort of a long-term thing because it constitutes to the lack of competitiveness that's within the league in terms of the pros. I mean, you have players who are coming in too early because they feel like, hey, my draft stock is probably the highest it's ever going to be right now. I'm having a great year my first year. They go into the league not the best NBA player they could potentially be. True. And it shows and it reflects once they enter the league. You have guys who don't really pan out in the league who are great in college during their one and done season at whatever big school they played for. And I think that is why I'm so opposed to it. Not more so. I understand you're talking about the guys and what their parents are going through. They want to make something out of their talents as soon as possible, reap benefits, and support their family at the quickest rate they possibly can. But they should also take into account, in my opinion, the skill in that staying in a system and refining your skill within that system is going to mold you into the best pro player. You don't have to stay 4 years, but a one and done, it kind of, it diminishes the level of competition in the league, because these guys are coming in not so much NBA ready, and then also in terms of the collegiate level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you think of the 5 starters for a Duke and a Kentucky, and how many of them are actually going to leave this year.
Yeah, Kentucky's
what
projected to lose at least 2 or 3 players out of that starting lineup. That's just out of the starting lineup. Towns, I think they said
Colin Stein.
Well, Colin Stein was there last year.
Yeah, but all right,
yeah, true
that.
Yeah,
So
he
was
just
Harris.
hurt. He was just hurt.
But yeah, no, a lot of the players. First of all, Kentucky as a program is assumed to be one and done. So if you go to Kentucky, most people assume that you're going to be there 1 year and you're going to come out. People project the Harrison twins to come out as well. So we don't know how some of these college teams are going to look. And that's the thing. If you extended the years that they have to be in college, you make the collegiate level more competitive, because now you have players who've seen each other and compete against each other. So you can have like little rivalries between players. You can also make the NBA better, because now you have more NBA ready players to come in. So I can see how it benefits both. And the way NCAA can really help out doing this, if they go to implement this with the NBA, is to make sure that these players get paid. The NCAA makes sure they get their money, and these players don't see it. I don't understand why how can an organization like the NCAA make money off somebody else's name, but you're not allowed to make money off your own name. Players get in trouble all the time for signing autographs and making money off of it, but you get in trouble for making money off their own name when they put in the work.
Yeah, but think about it. They're also going to school for free.
Yeah, but
I just like to think of the situation, like regardless of the money situation, what money other people can get from like their autographs and like signed sneakers or whatever, things like that.
Okay.
But I think the fact that when you are a one and done player, you are saying, okay, think about this. Think about you in college right now, then doing what you want to love, doing what you love right now. And if you're telling me that if I have to do 1 year of college and I could go and do that and then spend my life doing that, then I'll do it. Because if you think of it this way, think of college. They still have to go to class. Some say the least. I'm not going to pinpoint on fingers or whatever, but the stories about how some people, like the high D1 people, might have some whatever kind of classes, some sort of say. But just to say, like, all right, say you have to deal with that schedule of going to class, worrying about your grades, going to play ball. I understand that there is a mindset that education is key, but that's not in every person. And I think that if you have those type of people who are blessed to have that talent, and they can show that talent for 1 year and get a high lottery pick, and then get that close to $1 million in one contract for 4 years, and you're telling me that after I get my rights up, I get out of college, and I could go to the draft, that means I could live and breathe basketball and what I've dreamed for since I was a kid, and have the facilities to wake up and do it every day and get better instead of worrying about classes.
I agree with you with that. I have no problem with that. Follow your dreams. But with thing about the one and done that bothers me is that, okay, when your time in the NBA is done, what are you doing? A lot of NBA players fall off because they have nothing else to do.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
So what they should do? They should buy some stocks and get some insurance on those stocks. That's what they should do. Get business acumen up.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, that's the thing though. A lot of these NBA players, they're not told how to manage their money or stuff like that. So it's a problem. So that's why I think going back to school would be a good thing.
That's one thing why I keep hearing about announcers keep talking about how high school, they should bring it back to high school. I'm just like, no, it's just no, because you're telling 18-year-olds that they can go to the NBA, learn how to handle all this XYZ bunch of money, and then not have an education. Like, I see how I can understand the player's mindset about how doing 1 year in college and going on, but I do wish that they had a longer time in college and just enjoy this experience, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
Yeah, but on that note, it's about time to wrap up a segment, quite lengthy, but I think we covered some good ground, had an interesting convo here, and we'll be back with some 3-man weave, but 3 instead of 4 this time. Jiggity on in the control room over there, about to join and embrace debate. So we'll be right back.